I found a hair care method that actually works for my hair, and it is the proper way to actually take care of your hair. Now, I went from 12.5 centimeters to 15.5 centimeters in 3 months, retaining 3 centimeters of new hair growth. Now, there's the word retaining. I took care of my ends, but I also prioritized my scalp. Now, this is all on a budget for my girlies who really don't want to pay for a lot of hair care. But yes, please do pause to read it. I am going to tell you whatever it is that I have to say, but this is a method everyone has to get on, and I can guarantee results. For my weekly hair care routine, I decided to make it as simple as possible because I did not want something that was going to be heavy on me. Seriously, otherwise I wasn't going to follow it. So I have been keeping mini braids for about 3 months, and I'm going to be doing this for the whole year. I had herbal hair oil, but I decided not to use that because it's expensive, and decided to find a different alternative. And yeah, my scalp massager just does as it should. And as for my hair ends, the thing that you want to be doing is oiling them up, because the sebum created by your own scalp, yes, your scalp makes your own hair oil. You don't need to be buying extra things unless you got something going on like alopecia or something like that. I would assume, please keep that in mind. Your scalp doesn't really need much oiling on it, honestly. So what I do is I decided that, I'm gonna be taking care of my ends, because that is the only part of your hair that this natural sebum does not reach. So that's why it's constantly dry, it's constantly breaking off, and you end up with split ends and just all of that. So it's important to keep your ends oiled up, but you cannot oil them up if you did not make your hair wet. So make sure you make it wet with water or with with conditioner mixed with water. Yes, yeah. Sure to have a scarf on your head, whether it be a bonnet, a scarf, it doesn't matter, because you will end up with frizz like me, and that breaks and it will literally snap and break off. You don't want that. Now, this is how I had my hair for a while. I did not like that, so I decided to opt for a scarf on my head whenever I go out. This is an option for, you can style it however you want. This is just the way I like to do it. When it was time for me to finally take down my hair, I had to schedule a day where I could actually sit down and do what needed to be done. I had to finger detangle, obviously, and I used a brush type of comb, sort of, to detangle the hair, a detangling brush basically. So please be patient with this process. I bought my detangling brush from Chinatown. It was like $15. I do have more than one of those because I find myself in situations where I'm not at home, and then I need to undo my hair, and then I end up having to go back to Chinatown and buy another one. So these are my favorite combs. You'll see it at the end of the video. But this is 11 centimeters that I got from measuring. Obviously 11 centimeters because remember the hair is shrunk. But the overall measurements that I got from the unbraided hair was about 15.5 centimeters, and then more in the sides and at the back was like 16 centimeters. So the difference is give or take 3.5 centimeters, I would say. But when it came to taking care of my hair, this was like a pretty easy process. Now, this is someone who also does the mini braid, 3-month mini braid challenge, and as you can see, her hair has grown pretty long. So it does work. It's just a matter of patience, really. And as you can see there, I did have a lot of shedding, obviously, but that is because you shed hair every about 100 strands a day. So the amount of shedding I do have is a lot. Now, washing my hair is very important because your scalp is just like your face. You don't wash your face after 1 or 3 weeks, or after 1 month or something, or like that. But it's very important to wash it every week, because depending on what you're also using, please don't use sunlight to wash your hair every week. Get a shampoo, get a conditioner separately, obviously, because for say if you had to make your hair wet, just hydrating your hair while it's still in the mini braids, then you can do that with your conditioner, instead of buying a 2-in-1. That's just my advice. What I usually do is with the empty bottle, I pour the conditioner in however much I would need, and then dilute it with water, and then just use that. Now, I do use an airbrush instead of rollers because my hair is too thick for me to do that. I'll seriously end up crying. it was my first attempt was very horrible, and I literally almost freaking cried because I couldn't do it. This was my first attempt braiding my own hair, which was like actually pretty fun because here, as you can see, I just noticed that it was 1 in the morning when my alarm went off, and I didn't want to go to sleep because I was actually enjoying it. I thought I would actually cry like I did with my first attempt of putting my hair in rollers, but it wasn't the case. I enjoyed it. I was watching VLE. It was great. And yeah, but for my wash day, I ended up I always section my hair in 4 parts, and it makes washing the hair very easy because it is thick, and it is important to detangle the hair after you wash your hair. Do not detangle your hair when you're shampooing the hair. Now let's talk braids. Braids as in synthetic hair. These are the disadvantages of why you shouldn't be using it. Because as your hair is growing, the braids, the synthetic hair is rubbing against your own ends, and it is literally chipping away at your hair. So while your hair is growing, your ends are basically just breaking off in mini little tiny pieces, and that's not safe for your hair. You don't want to end up in situations like that. And please, I am begging you now, if maybe you feel like you in mini braids does not look cute for you, then you can use a scarf as I do, because I desperately want long hair and I want to take care of my hair as it should be taken care of. And as you can see, this is me rocking my scarf as per usual. Now I do end up in situations where I cannot use my scarf, so I just have to bear with it, but it's just for the time being anyways, you know. And this is someone with much shorter hair, almost I think the same as mine compared to the previous creator. And as you can see, which you will see now, her hair has grown pretty long in a matter of 9 months, not even a year. The other creator was like a year's journey. And I finished it like my first half like at 2 in the morning, and so I was like, you know, it's time to go to bed because I had stuff to do the next day, and I could not lack on sleep. Now for the next day, I used my phone as my mirror, and for the back obviously, which was a very weird situation for me because I had to like check and then place the pen in the head and then put the phone down and then part the hair, and then, you know, just rinse and repeat. The lines weren't as straight, but I feel like I did a pretty good job, you know. But yeah, it's not that difficult. I do not trust people with doing my hair. That's why I decided to do it myself. I don't trust hair salons with their blow dryers and their gels.
Of just kind of this perpetuation of natural hair being so hard to maintain. We have to pay it forward so that the next generation sees natural hair as something that is easy, something that is normal, something that has a bit of a different rhythm, but it's okay because it's my hair. And God did not make any mistakes when he was making my hair, okay?
I was pretty proud with how this came out because like I did a good job for a first trial, honestly. And this is how you can literally see the length difference. And yes, the hair is dry, but you're gonna see it wet soon. And this is what it looks like, and you're gonna see it after a month as well. Length, you can see there's a difference. These are the hairstyles that I would suggest, either cornrows or mini braids. I don't really trust twists because they unravel themselves, but as long as the cornrows are like pretty tiny, you're good to go for a few months. You know, get creative with how you do it. I don't care. And for people with short hair, I would literally suggest these types of hairstyles, you know, tiny mini braids at the back, obviously, because you won't have a lot of work on braiding it, you know. For people with thin hair and they have a lot of hair breakage with synthetic hair. And by thin hair, I mean hair that is literally thinner than strand. On the right, you can see that there's 2 hair strands. One is thick and one is very thin. That's fine hair. And it's very unfortunate because they continue to do cornrows, even though that is like practically, I would say, the cause of why their hair is breaking to begin with. The method is to keep mini braids for 3 months. Wash your hair once a week. Keep your ends oiled with castor oil, whatever oil it is you want to use. I prefer castor oil. And then use your scalp massager at least twice a week. Make sure to keep a scarf on when you go to bed, either a bonnet or a scarf, doesn't really matter whether it's satin. And then as for the products that I use,
I use shampoo, conditioner, and castor oil. That's it. And then a scalp massager, which I bought in Chinatown, including my hair comb. And yeah, I think that's about it. Oh yeah, and also make sure that you keep your hair wet. Like I wet my hair every day with water or conditioner. But that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope this really was helpful for everyone.